Olusegun Dokun. Honorable Odebunmi is invited to move the motion.
Next, House of Rep member. Even fortunately, the Senate also moved the same motion last week after we stepped our own down. Mr. Speaker, need to assess the African Continental Free Trade Agreement signed by President Muhammadu Buhari. The House note that the President Muhammadu Buhari at the extraordinary session of the Assembly of African Union Heads of the States and Government in Niamey, Niger Republic, on Sunday, 7 July 2019, signed a pact to establish an African Continental Free Trade Agreement on behalf of the government of the people of Nigeria. Also note that the President, while signing the agreement, stated that the Nigerian government will seek to include themes and will engender the development of policies that will promote African production, among other policies, while reiterating that what Africa needs goes beyond trade policy, but includes a manufacturing agenda as well as attracting investment and combating smuggling. Believe that President Buhari deserves commendation for signing the trade agreement with a severe caution on the need to prevent excessive prosperity for importing nations along the coast, while landlocked nations will continue to suffer. The House further notes that Nigeria, as the largest economy in Africa, should, in line with the agreement, define a various way to optimize benefits accruable from the part by ensuring that its export to other African markets surpass its import in order for it to have positive effect on the gross domestic product, balance of the trade payment, and employment generation objective. Also believe that if that is not done, the nation could be turned into dumping ground for the product from other African countries, a development that would be adverse to the nation's microeconomic objective. They are resolved to commend the President Muhammadu Buhari for taking the step of placing Nigeria in the right place among our colleagues in the continent of Africa. Though the signing of African Continental Trade, through the signing of African Continental Trade Agreement. 2, urge the federal government to set machineries in motion to ensure that Nigeria optimizes the expected benefits from the agreement. 3, mandate the Committee on Special Duty and Commerce when constituted to ensure implementation. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Received. Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it.
You know, if you follow the trend, you know, it takes a lot of time before the Commander-in-Chief agreed to sign with the other colleagues of Africa, even after about 44 countries of Africa have signed it. But notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, the most important thing that is boggling my mind is about our preparation of this nation to go into this agreement. There are some things that we need to be careful about. Otherwise, this nation will turn to be a dumping ground for other African finished products, because this agreement is given a trade agreement all over, within African countries, that free movement of ideas, free movement of the finished product within all countries that agree on it. So that means from South Africa, product can be bringing to the nation. From Nigeria, product can take it to any other African country. But my concern is that Nigerian government should right now have a committee on ground discussing about our moribund companies, discussing about Ajakuta, which you have started in the State Assembly, so that Nigeria also can have a lot of products to be put on table of other African countries, so that our export will be more than the import into the nation. If we are not prepared for this and we didn't take care of this, otherwise Instead of this thing to be a blessing to us, it will turn to be another thing, God forbid. Mr. Speaker, creating a job for Nigerians can be achieved through this if we really go through to the heat, to it. I mean, if we really pursue it, and we have a set agenda for it, and the government of the nation should be ready to implement according to whatever recommendation the committee set up recommended for them. I so submit, Mr. Speaker, for other colleagues to bring their contribution.
Mr. Speaker, I want to join my colleague in making a few contributions as it concerns the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement that has just been assented to, and Nigeria has appended her signature by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, why I see this motion very timely is that, yes, it's a good thing. We commend the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in the 2 steps he had taken before the signature of Nigeria on that document. Number 1 is having to put together an interagency committee to be able to discuss the issues of Nigeria and how they can see Nigeria's benefit and where Nigeria can leverage on this agreement before Nigeria goes to append the signature. And it's akin to what Theresa May was probably doing while negotiating with Brussels, as EU specifically, before Brexit. So, Mr. Speaker, there are very crucial things to be put in place by the Federal Republic of Nigeria if we are to take the benefit of the African common markets that this agreement seeks to achieve for the African continent, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you permit me, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, on a serious note, we are to put in place certain things that will make us achieve the competitive advantage which this agreement seeks to achieve. And that's why I support prayer 2 in totality of this motion. Number 1, sir, it is the manufacturing sector of this country or any country that seeks to benefit from a free trade or a free market, a common market created for a community or nations. And the question now today is, how are our manufacturers faring in this country? Great challenges, ranging from power sector to security and to issue of tariffs, sir. So I want to appeal that before we get the full benefit that will translate to the competitive advantage that we should take from this agreement, as we proceed to look at the 2020 budget, then we must put in place serious fundings to take off infrastructure so that, 1, our manufacturers can produce their goods at the lowest cost possible. Because if we don't do this, we are virtually going to be competing in a market at a very disadvantaged position. So I want to urge, as we go forward, joining my colleague, that we urge the federal government to be able to put things in place, make sure adequate investment in infrastructure, ranging from power, and we will talk about the long term. I believe that other issues will come about, issues of gas pricing, which is the main supply for power stations, issues of our roads, issues of our railway system like we talked about last week. So I am advocating that we should put the infrastructure on ground, invest heavily on infrastructure development so that we can get the full benefit of this trade agreement for Nigeria and Nigerians. Those are my humble submissions, Mr.